Hello, my name is Manaz, and this video is a great sequence for golfers. So a lot of golfers tend to deal with shoulder injuries, elbow injuries, wrist injuries, and even lower back, hip, and knees. So this is just a short sequence to help prevent or heal from any of these injuries. Very simple sequence. Please pay attention to your body, and please don't create any pain in the body by forcing any of these postures. So the first pose I'd like you to start out in is child's pose. You can have knees and feet together, or feet together, knees apart, so big toes together. And you just reach your arms forward and relax your head down. If the floor feels too far, you can always place a block underneath your forehead or a lift. And you stay in this pose for at least 3 to 5 breaths, breathing in, breathing out by your nose. After your child's pose, you're going to walk your hands back and get into your tabletop position. So bring the knees to hip width, feet hip width, and move into your puppy pose, which means your hands move forward, the hips stay in the air, and again, you drop the head down. So this is a great stretch for shoulders and upper back. And then you want to relax your spine as well. Let the hips rotate, top of the pelvis down, breathing in and breathing out, holding this for another 3 to 5 breaths. And once you're done with this, you walk your hands back. You're going to bring that left hand underneath your right. And you're going to bring that head down and the shoulder down and just allow for the stretch. Just feel wherever you feel it. When you're new to this pose, you probably don't feel anything because it's awkward. But little by little, you're going to work to feel the stretch, side body, shoulder, maybe the lower back. And you hold for 3 to 5 breaths again. Always breathing in and out by the nose, making sure to do both sides. Again, shoulder down, head down. You control your body weight with the left hand. You relax your spine and you breathe deeply. And then very slowly you come out. So back into your tabletop position, make sure your hands, your fingers are spread wide. The palms, hands are flat on the floor. We're going to do heel lifts. So you're going to lift your heels up and lower the heels down. Now, if this feels too much, you can bring the hips back more and bring the hands back so the weight's not directly over those wrists and hands. So you can lift heels and lower. So you lift and lower. So this is not just a stretching, but it'll help strengthen those wrist joints. And I would recommend doing this at least 8, maybe even 12 times. And once you're done with that, make sure you're not holding the breath, inhaling and exhaling. Then we're going to move on to the hips and the hamstrings. So yoga blocks are very useful for this next one, half splits. If you don't have blocks, you can use books or paper towels. So from your knees, you're just going to bring that right leg forward. Extend the leg forward. It doesn't have to be perfectly straight. Just take it to where you can. But little by little, that hamstring is going to release and create more hip mobility and more mobility in your lower spine. So that leg is forward, your left hip is over the left knee. You can just hold, rounding over your legs or even lengthening the spine, breathing in and breathing out. And another option is to even bring that forehead down towards the knee. This is very helpful for those of us who deal with sciatica. And then you switch sides, bring the right foot back, left leg forward, keeping hip over that knee joint. Left leg extends out. You try to eventually straighten the leg, but don't force it, stretching the hamstring out. Again, spine rounded, long, or forehead to the knee. But you pick your position and you hold. I recommend 5 breaths here. Breathe. And then we're going to move into our pigeon pose. So go into your tabletop. You can use a block if you need. But from your tabletop position, you bring that right knee forward behind the right thumb. You're going to bring this right foot over to the left gently, flexing the right foot and taking the left leg back. Now, if this is too much for you, you can put a block underneath that right hip and you hold. And eventually, you will gain the mobility to bring that hip down, keeping that right foot flexed, right knee protected, and then eventually even bringing that body down if that feels better for you. But for those of us with back pain, I am one of them. I like to stay upright because it gives me a better stretch in that lower back. And once you've held this for, again, at least 5 breaths, you're going to switch sides. Lift the hips, go back in a tabletop. This time you bring your left knee forward, flex that foot, position the lower leg. Try not to force it all the way up. And then slide your right leg back. If you need that block or lift underneath the left hip, make sure you adjust for that. Again, you can stay upright, holding this stretch. You're going to feel it in the outer hip, hip flexor, maybe the inner thighs for some of you. Again, try to hold and breathe, and even bringing the body down if that feels better for you. And once you're done with your pigeon pose, this is a really great hip mobility pose. You press the body up, and we're going to move into a straddle. Now, straddles are important for that inner thigh adductor stretch, and that inner thigh and adductor mobility is what helps your hips. Okay, so hip injuries need these inner thigh flexibility, basically. So ideally, legs straight, feet flexed. You can put your hips against a wall, and if you can reach forward, you start walking the hands forward. But do try, I know a lot of us are rounded, do try to lengthen the spine as much as you can. And again, hold 5 breaths, maybe 8 breaths in the straddle, breathing in and breathing out. And make sure not to move through these postures too much faster than I'm going. If anything, you want to move even slower through them and even hold them longer. The last one we do is our spine twist. So you bring the legs out in front, you bend the right knee, foot outside the knee, and you bring that right hand behind you. You can wrap your arm around, you can place the elbow outside the knee, but you do want to lengthen your spine, so shoulders over the hips, bringing the rib cage back, shoulder, and then your head. And again, hold for at least 3 breaths, breathing in, breathing out by the nose. And once you're done, same thing other side, left knee bends, left arm behind you. Try to bring the hand close to the body so you're really sitting up tall. Elbow outside the knee, or wrapping the arm around, lengthening, and then rib cage, shoulder, and then the head last. And again, holding for at least 3 breaths. Try not to lean back. Try to lengthen up. Even move your torso closer to the thigh. And then gently you untwist out. So really important to do this sequence every day if you can. So I do hope it was helpful for you. Thank you for watching. Hopefully I will see you next time. Namaste.